and we're underway, and it's controlled by the Sonics. And so Antonio Daniels, who has been nothing short of outstanding throughout this series, even in the first two losses, has been probably the most consistent player for the Sonics. Ray Allen, who has been their leading scorer in the last 3 games. And Duncan out to meet him.
They started out very aggressive against the pick and roll on track. Ray Allen throws the ball away against the double team.
Not a good start for Seattle. And now the Spurs with their first possession. And Tony Parker coming off an off game, and Manu Ginobili getting the call, and Greg Popovich saying, I need more time for Ginobili. He'll get more as a starter, and Brent Barry coming off the bench.
Well, he's got to get more emotion, too, in his half-court offense, because you want to open up the floor so Parker can get through.
And Bowen shot inside, and the rebound by Evans. Spurs winning big in the first 2 games, 103-81, and then 108-91 before the Sonics came back with 2 big wins in Seattle. The fall away by Daniels, still scoreless with a minute gone by.
Here goes Parker in the open court, tries to get out in transition.
And that's what worked for him in game 1 when he scored the first 7 points, was able to get in at will against the Sonics.
The Sonics have done a very nice job of getting back. Their defensive balance has been good the last 2 games when they've won.
So Ginobili and Parker, along with Duncan, have been the big 3 in the last game for the Spurs. Duncan was the big 1. He did not get much support. Parker with plenty of time from the corner.
But too much time. Daniels couldn't believe that he was that wide open. He couldn't either.
Ray Allen coming off a brilliant 32-point effort, no basket. And the foul before the shot. Allen with 32 points, his best game of this series.
It's been pretty interesting so far. We've seen that Rittenauer actually hasn't handled the ball a whole lot. It's been Ray Allen and Antonio Daniels. They're burying Parker on the baseline, but he can't get out and push.
And that's interesting because the Spurs like to run. A lot of people think a half-court team. Greg Popovich says, no, we like to get out on the transition.
Well, this is why it's going to be so important for them defensively. They've got to rebound the defensive board. You can't let Seattle get on the offensive board if you really want to get out and pitch it.
Parker bringing it up against James's miss. Ginobili pressing going in. And Ray Allen will be called for the foul. So Bowen for the Spurs picking up the foul at one end. Ray Allen chalks up his foot.
Well, the Spurs obviously like that. Any opportunity to attack Ray Allen off the dribble, get him in foul trouble, have him sit on that sideline will be the best remedy for his 32.
Duncan setting the screen for Ginobili, picked up by Reggie Evans. Parker out in three-point line, has not hit one yet in this series. Penetrating inside and scores to end the drought.
Well, a little bit of a difference so far, again, is in the last game with Brent Barry in the starting lineup, you had Antonio Daniels on Parker. His size bothered him a little bit more, but now, because of Ginobili in there, Rittenauer's had to match up with Parker.
Spurs did not have a lead at all in game number 4, and Allen working against Bowen, pulling up and missing a three-point attempt. Nazir Muhammad getting the rebound.
See, that's a dangerous. Anytime you attack missed baskets on Seattle's part, you're leaving yourself susceptible for them getting down without the help being there on offense.
Tim Duncan going up and draws the foul. Duncan, a one-man gang for the Spurs with 35 points in game 4 on Sunday. Even sitting the last 8 minutes and 27 seconds when the game had been decided as Jerome James picks up the foul. So, yes, help for Tim Duncan, who had 35, hitting 14 of 17 from the line as the Spurs turned around their problems from the free throw line on Sunday.
Anytime Duncan has James moving laterally, I think it will cause a problem. His length can bother him some on his jump shot if he's near him, but if he gets him to move his feet, I think Tim Duncan is probably far more agile than he is.
Well, as you said, Tim's free throw problem again.
Well, sometimes it goes from game to game. Duncan is a 74% free throw shooter in this series. And as you mentioned on Sunday, the key will be down the stretch how the teams hit the free throw.
Well, they can keep it close, and where they try to tighten these guys up, it has been the Achilles heel for the Spurs all year long.
Sonics haven't scored. 2.5 minutes plus gone by.
Again, you see Parker buried on the baseline. They're running pick and roll with Daniels. at the top.
Daniels missing the three. James trying to keep it alive. And here come the Spurs trying to push it up. That's why Ginobili's in there, and he'll go in with the basket. So Parker and Ginobili each with field goals to start the Spurs off to a 5-0 lead.
That was the element that they were losing the last time. Ginobili looks to score when he comes down, and he's very aggressive attacking. I also like the fact that he's guarding Daniels because he's more aggressive in stopping Daniels from getting to the basket.
Ginobili picking up the foul.
Well, looking at this, they're pushing the ball and trying to get down early. Before, when they played the last time, the defense was always set, and they were playing against Seattle's defense.
Ginobili scored 28 points, his series high in Game 2, and has scored 18 and 15 in the last 2 games. Here's Luke Rittenauer. And Rittenauer misses his first shot and trying to keep it alive out of bounds. And last touch by the Spurs. Good hustle by Luke Rittenauer.
Again, we've seen a couple of wide open shots that the Sonics made in Seattle, but they have yet to do here tonight.
And the big question will be, will the likes of Rittenauer and Damian Wilkins off the bench do as well on the road as they did before the home fans in Game 4?
That's why it's very crucial to jump on them very early in the game, because you don't want carryover from the last game from both of those guys.
Nate McMillan said this is the most significant first quarter the Sonics have played all year. James going in, and it rolls off. And Duncan getting the rebound. So right now, an 0-for-7 start for Seattle.
Is there such thing as a good miss? That was a good miss for James because he was heading in the right direction.
Yeah, what I liked about it was he put the ball on the floor, went to the basket, didn't settle for a jump shot.
Nazr Mohammed driving in, and Ginobili gets it away from James. So how did Ginobili get the ball away from James, who apparently had the rebound and picks up his second personal foul?
Again, you know, Ginobili's always hanging around. He's always hanging around the rim. Shot comes across the middle, very well contested, just bobbled out of James's hands and in the right place at the right time.
A shaky start for Seattle, and Nick Collison is going to come into the game. And Collison has had an outstanding series, playing the most minutes in Game 4, 28, and will send James to the bench early.
Well, Collison's done a very nice job defensively all series. You know, he's been very active in the pick-and-roll defenses. He's been able to move his feet, get into the paint, take a couple of charges, and been very active around the boards. He's gotten to the free throw line also.
Nearly 4 minutes gone by in the first quarter of Game 5, and the Sonics yet to score. And right now, let's send it over to the fourth member of our team, really, Charles Davis.
Dick, as you guys were talking about the keys to the game, I noticed on the board in the Seattle locker room, Nate McMillan had emphasized one in particular, and that was run. And he also said both ways, meaning on offense, push the ball, and make sure you get back on defense, because San Antonio will push it right back at them.
And that's with Rashard Lewis out of action. The team is much quicker with the 3 guards, and Antonio Daniels, one of them, just getting through for the layup.
Well, that's what Daniels did a lot of in the last game. It was good to see the movement so they could get to the basket. If you want to stop the Spurs from running, make layups.
And Nazr Mohammed on the follow, scoring after Seattle finally got on the board after 4 minutes gone by. But the Spurs lead by 7 here in the first quarter.
So the Spurs are sticking with their defense from last game and going under on all the pick and rolls involving Rittenauer and Daniels.
Here's Daniels shooting over Duncan. Tough shot with Duncan in front of him. And the defense is the way it starts all of the pacing for Greg Popovich. He says we have to get stops to do it. Nick Collison winds up on the floor as you look at the Sonics 1-for-9 start, and Collison picking up the personal.
I've got to feel that Popovich is pretty pleased with the last shot that Daniels took. You know, you're taking a fadeaway jump shot from the corner with an agile big 7-footer on it.
Robert Horry has checked into the game, and so has Brent Barry, as Nazr Mohammed and Manu Ginobili go to the bench. Barry had started every game since Game 2 of the opening round against Denver until tonight. And Collison gets a piece of Duncan's shot.
Evans did a very nice job of defending Tim Duncan on that isolation.
And Duncan does a good job defensively against Collison at the other end. Parker trying to go inside, and a loose ball foul is called against the Spurs, and that'll be Tim Duncan's first foul.
Well, Tony Parker's got to finish some of those shots for the Spurs. I mean, he's getting to the rim. I'm not sure if there's been an effect by the Seattle big man of putting him to the ground that, you know, he's looking for them as he's going in right now.
He's probably got 1 eye on him and 1 eye on the basket after they roughed him up the last game.
Well, James is out of the game with 2 fouls. So you have Reggie Evans and Nick Collison as the big people. Bowen is guarding Allen, and now trapped. Bowen got a piece of that. Collison has it with under 9 on the shot clock. Daniels won't challenge Duncan again, but Evans might, and he does, and he scores. Reggie Evans, who has not been much of an offensive force, makes it a 9-4 game. Here's Parker.
Parker's much better in transition and getting to the basket than playing against the set defense.
And a reach-in foul. And Antonio Daniels. And those are the kinds of fouls that Nate McMillan does not want to see for his team.
Well, particularly when you're in the bonus and you're sending, you know, guys to the free throw line right now, you want to make the Spurs team shoot shots over the top.
Those are the kind of fouls you want to see. You just don't want them called.
So Robert Horry on the free throw line scored 2 points in 23 minutes, but had 6 rebounds in game 4.
Again, coming back, you know, for Seattle, as you see them running their pick and roll game, Ray Allen is having a hard time getting any kind of shots because they're aggressively double teaming him. They're still going under on all the pick and rolls with Ridnour and with Daniels. So, you know, Popovich staying with his same strategy from last game, making a bet that these guards of the Sonics will not make shots here in San Antonio.
Well, it's pick your poison time as far as the Spurs are going. Either the pick and roll works with the plays inside or they hit the perimeter shot, and he's backing that they don't pick the outside shot. 7-point lead for the Spurs with 5 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in the first. Horry defending Collison. Ridnour going down low to Evans. Evans has scored once inside and now has his second basket, sending Duncan to the floor.
Well, that's the second aggressive move Evans has made towards the basket. I always think there's a danger when you fake that collapse right under the basket like that. Referee doesn't call. The guy's got a flat out layup.
I think Tim is thinking, I'm dead anyway. He got me too deep, so I might as well go down.
And Evans, Duncan gets burned. And it's now 13-6.
Well, maybe they had a deal going. I'll give you one, you get one.
Like an all-star game. Ridnour goes behind to Evans. Ill-advised and fortunate to get it back. Ridnour a little shaky right now after a huge game 4. And Ridnour with a scoop shot, and he's got it. Luke Ridnour with 20 points. And he had 15 in the third quarter on Sunday. Parker goes in. The ball deflected out of bounds. Last touch by Seattle.
Well, Ridnour, you know, showing the great use of the left hand again. Last game, he made a great bounce pass with his left hand. Now, going through the lane and going over with the hook shot with his left hand over Tim Duncan for a great finish.
Great performance by the Sonics guards, 4 of them. In game 4, Brent Barry missing a 3-point attempt.
Well, that's so important for the Sonics, for the guards to play well because they don't have a significant post-up game on the block. If they're not hitting outside, they're going to have some problems, especially if they're not getting out and getting layups.
Jerome James on the bench with 2 fouls. Daniels controlling with 7 on the shot clock, under 4.5 to go in the first quarter. Here is Daniels against big people. Collison. And a 3-second violation. Evans was in the lane too long.
Yeah, San Antonio's defense has been terrific against penetration so far tonight. Their guys, the Sonics are getting into the paint, but they can't get a shot off because the Spurs big men, Horry and Tim Duncan, have stepped up nicely to stop that penetration.
You're right, Mike. The Sonics shooting 31% from the field and made 4 of 13. Duncan in there, up front, with Barry, Horry, Ginobili, and Parker with the ball.
San Antonio going to the high pick and roll now to spread the court also.
Barry goes to Parker. Parker for 3. And he still has not hit a three-point shot in the series, but Ori gets the offensive board.
And as long as he doesn't hit that shot, he's going to have much more difficult time getting to the basket because the help is coming this time from Seattle's second line.
Ginobili makes the circus play as he went right past Danny Fortson, who's come into the game. And the Spurs lead by 7, matching their biggest lead of the game.
But Ginobili has such great body control. I mean, he sidestepped 2 guys on that play and then spun one up with his left hand off the glass.
Damian Wilkins, one of the heroes for Seattle on Sunday, as was Collison, who hits from the corner. And a delay of game warning called against the Sonics, who cut the deficit to 5.
You know, Collison contributes so many little insignificant things. You don't tend to notice him setting screens, rebounding, just stepping out, shooting a little, soft one from the mid-range corner.
And he leads the team in offensive rebounds with 10. He has been active throughout the series. Ginobili driving in to draw the foul, and Ray Allen, they have picked up another one. And Allen now with his second personal. And that'll hurt the Sonics.
Well, they've done a great job on Ray Allen so far as it is. I mean, just denying him the basketball. He's had a very hard time getting any kind of touches. And so now, even more so, they run pick and roll. Ray forces baseline, thinks his help's going to be there. Ginobili sees it, and he forces the contact to get Ray with that second foul. Ray's going to have to sit down now.
And, that's one of the great things I think about starting Ginobili. Pop realizes that they needed to start with more intensity. He's so attacking all the time, defensively scrambling, that he sets that kind of early tone of the game.
And so there is Manu Ginobili and what he has meant to the team. Coming off the bench, the team actually scored more, but now it's a matter of matchups, and especially with Rashard Lewis not playing, and so Ginobili back in the game. Allen going to the bench with 2 fouls, has not scored, and the Sonics have not gone to the line.
And he just sets an aggressive tone as well, too. I think that he gives them that aggressiveness that they need.
Damian Wilkins, who did not play like a rookie, called for palming the ball. So Wilkins coming off a huge 15-point 7 for 11 shooting game, 5 steals in Sunday's game, and a timeout with 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter of Game 5. Each team has won a pair, and the Spurs lead the Sonics 16-10.
And he has experience. He's the one guy on this team that has been that far as from the championship, and can give them pointers on what it is necessary to do.
Barry is guarded by Damian Wilkins out on the perimeter. Ginobili leading the Spurs with 7 points. He's picked up by Ronald Murray in the game the first time, and a foul called against Murray, and that will be the 4th team foul against the Sonics. They are in the penalty and have been, and so Ginobili will go to the line to shoot 2.
So when you're looking at this foul, Ginobili is such a hard guard because he's constantly always probing and attacking. And then if you make a mistake, he will go in, give you his body, and then give you the ball. But he's getting so much aggressiveness to this Spurs team early in the game.
And, of course, Ginobili playing 25 minutes in Game 4. Greg Popovich saying we don't want him to play 44 minutes, but a lot more minutes in tonight's game, and he can do it as the starter. And, it isn't often you have an all-star coming off the bench anyway.
Right here, the Spurs are making the Sonics work as far as bringing the ball up the court. They're getting into their set offense with 12 seconds.
Daniels late driving in and is fouled. And fouled by Nazi Muhammad. So Daniels will go to the line. That is the 14th foul against San Antonio. And Daniels, who had 19 points and 7 assists in Game 4, will shoot 2.
But Daniels showing great attack mode again. They're trying to force him on the baseline with the pick. He attacks the big man, turns the corner, and draws the foul.
I thought Coach Dunleavy said something very significant in the last game about Daniels. Because he's played against these guys, he doesn't have that kind of respect that a lot of people may have. And he comes out, Luke is young. He can alleviate a lot of Luke's problems in his pressure. And also, he has a sense of arrogance and confidence against these guys.
Daniels is 22 of 24 from the free throw line, and the Sonics, the #1 free throw shooting team in the playoffs at 82%. That has been one of their strong suits all year.
But sometimes when you play with guys, you want to let them know, I still got it.
Oh, yeah, and he probably knows it against certain members of his team.
So the Spurs lead is 6. Seattle has not had the lead in this game. The Spurs did not have the lead in game number 4. Nazr Mohammed with the basket and a foul. So Nazr Mohammed, who has been a key offensive rebounder in the series, with a chance for the three-point play.
Well, they had a little bit of a miscommunication on that last play. Manu Ginobili was isolated on the wing against Collison. He should have forced the baseline where his help was. Big man steps up for the block. Nobody took the other Mohammed and took him out of the play. So he got the easy offensive rebound and score.
Danny Fortson with a foul, and Nazr Mohammed, who has not scored more than 7 points, but his job is off the boards and defense. Missing the chance for the three-point play. Collison the rebound. Tim Duncan on the bench right now. But the Spurs have outscored the Sonics 7-4. With Duncan on the bench, he has scored 3. Allen, with foul trouble early, has not scored, and he remains on the bench. Under 2 minutes to play in the first.
Right now, Daniels is the only guy on the floor for the Sonics who has any kind of sense of confidence who's trying to score. Everybody else is playing very passively, not exactly sure what they want to do with the basketball.
Tony Parker picking up the personal foul. And that is the 15th foul against the Spurs. And so the Sonics will go to the line and shoot. Antonio Daniels once again going to the line. Greg Popovich, when we went in to see Greg Popovich before the game, he was sitting alone in a room and looking up on the screen and watching CNN. That's how confident and, I would say, worldly Greg Popovich is.
I think he's asleep.
Starting Friday, it's the Braves versus the Red Sox. Great players, great games, great coverage. Catch the series all weekend long on TBS. And 2 teams that once played in Boston, the Boston Braves, before they moved to Milwaukee and then Atlanta. The free throw's good, and it's a 20-14 Spurs lead. Ginobili with Ori, Parker, Barry, and Nazr Mohammed. And getting free, getting a piece of it, Parker with a second effort. Murray had 1 block, and once again, they're going to call it a deflection. Did it go under the basket?
Ball hit the stanchion off of the Sonics.
And it's still San Antonio ball.
You know, but right now, again, you're seeing Tony Parker. He had 2 or 3 opportunities in here to score, you know, pretty much naked. Ori goes up, ball's deflected, hits the backside of the basket.
So Parker will go to the bench, and Beno Udrih will replace him. Tim Duncan also coming back in with 3 points and 3 rebounds.
And Parker seems to be fighting himself, too, because he realizes what Mike has said. He's gotten that, but then he's very tentative, as if he's shooting with 1 eye on the basket and 1 eye on the defenders coming after him.
Udrih guarded by Daniels. Duncan is free, gets Fortson in the air. And the offensive foul on Duncan, and that'll be 2 on Tim Duncan.
Well, that was a very big play coming from the weak side, drawing that charge. Because Danny Fortson, he runs out at Tim Duncan when it was really actually out of Tim Duncan's range. He runs out there. That could be a tough shot for Tim. Now he gives him the opportunity to get to the rim. Great job by Daniels coming over and stepping in and taking that charge.
We approach 1 minute remaining in the first. Dick Stockton, Mike Dunleavy, John Thompson, Charles Davis. Game 5. Series all even at 2 apiece. The home team has won every game thus far. And 7 on the shot clock. Murray inside feeding Fortson, and it drops for him. So Danny Fortson, who, by the way, played a big role when Seattle beat San Antonio to win their first 2 regular season games. And the ball off the hands of Duncan, taken back by Beno Udrih, who lays it in.
Big change of possession there. That was a 4-point swing. The Sonics had numbers going the other way. All they had to do was advance the ball and get it out.
And it was the turnovers that really killed the Spurs, 20 of them in game number 4. And there is Daniels, who leads the way with 8 points for the Sonics. Ginobili with 9 tops the Spurs.
Daniels is smart enough to know that the play is on him now. A lot of point guards try to make passes at places where they don't need to.
Udrih feeding Nazr Mohammed, and Nazr with another chance for a 3-point play.
Well, looking at this, the thing you like about Nazr is that he creates a window. The penetration gets him open, but he has sense enough to slide into a position where he can become a receiver. A lot of big guys play on the offside, but they don't move into positions where they can become receivers. He works that role extremely well.
Muhammad making an early contribution. And the foul was on Flip Murray. And a chance to match the biggest lead of the game for San Antonio. And Nazr Mohammed, who came over on a draft day deal from the New York Knicks for the very popular Malik Rose, and has worked his way in as a starting center after Rasho Nesterovic suffered a sprained ankle toward the end of the year and has remained in the lineup.
Well, right now, San Antonio's in a 1-2-2 zone from the last possession.
Daniels, stop and start. Goes out to Wilkins. Clock is running down. Wilkins has to fire a long three. And time runs out. So the Sonics didn't get off the kind of shot that they wanted. Daniels scoring 8 points, the ex-Spur. But it's the San Antonio Spurs. In the first 3 games, dominated the first quarter before Seattle took the edge on Sunday. But once again, the Spurs take the lead early, 25-18 after the first. The 6-1 edge there, and have outscored the Sonics 7-0 in second chance points, and that's the lead they have. Beno Udrih with Manu Ginobili, Brent Barry, Nazr Mohammed, and Tim Duncan.
Seattle came out playing a matchup zone that first possession, and Ginobili just winds up with Collison on him, who he takes very easily off the dribble for the score.
Ginobili, and the biggest lead of the game now for San Antonio. Daniels guarded by Udrih. Fortune trying to set a screen, and the foul called against Beno Udrih. That'll be his first. 27-18. So with Tony Parker not being a factor in this game, Ray Allen, who had 2 early fouls and came out after not scoring, will return to the game along with Luke Ridnour. Parker remains on the bench, but San Antonio's up by 9. They're not complaining, John.
Well, they're not complaining at all, but you always have to be so conscious of a guy like Ray Allen, because he can score in so many bunches at one time. You want to prevent him from getting going.
Collison with Fortune, Flip Murray, along with Ray Allen and Luke Ridnour. And Allen with the fall away, hitting his first field goal of the game. Allen coming in is shooting 44% in the series.
This guy just comes off of the bench like that, puts it up right away, and it's nothing but net.
Duncan again in the low post against single coverage. Murray comes over, but Duncan scoop. Loose ball, and it comes out to Murray.
Collison's got to do a better job of boxing out. He's getting bullied underneath the basket.
Murray beating Collison. Collison puts it in as he got inside Duncan. Remember, Duncan playing with 2 personals.
Yeah, it was very smart by Collison. He knows Duncan's in foul trouble. Go up strong and make them have to come after you.
So now it's a 5-point game. Spurs led by 9 a moment ago. Quick double team on Duncan, leaving Mohammed free on a layup.
That was a bad double team. You know what I mean? There's no need, there's no urgency to come get that double team, and he leaves Mohammed, who walks down the lane for an easy basket.
Here's Ray Allen, hard off the glass, but the follow by Nick Collison. He's been doing that all series, John.
Well, and I like the way he does it. He does the same thing pretty much that Mohammed does. They read and pick up the leftovers. They're not the initial point of the offense, but in the same token, they take advantage of what's left over.
Collison with 6 off the bench. And it is now a 5-point game. Spurs have led all the way. Barry guarded by Allen, and here's a 3-point attempt by Beno Udrih, and another offensive rebound by Nazr Mohammed, feeding Duncan for the basket. Great feed after the rebound.
Well, Collison definitely, as Mike indicated, he's got to put a body now on Mohammed. Mohammed is picking up his confidence, and he's getting far more aggressive than he needs to be.
And Ridnour fouled with the runner on the baseline. 7 offensive rebounds for the Spurs in this game, but Ridnour will shoot.
Well, and you're looking right now, the shot goes up. Mohammed is doing a good job of using his length. He kept his arms up, but also, in order to be a good offensive rebounder from the weak side, you have to anticipate. You can't look for shots for yourself. You got to read when other people are going to shoot and get into position. That's what he's doing a great job of.
And that is the first miss from the line for the Spurs. Ridnour makes One more chance coming. Manu Ginobili will go to the bench, having scored 11. And Bruce Bowen comes back in. Nazi Muhammad goes out. So right now, the Spurs will have Barry, Udrich, Bowen, Duncan, and Ori. Collison sitting down.
See, probably, Dick, when Muhammad grew up, all the guards, like Mike told him, get his off of the boards. And he listened to him. A lot of big guys complain about not receiving passes. He's getting his own off of the offensive board.
And, Mike, this is a real small team in there for the Sonics. Fortson, the only forward.
Right. Seattle's gone with Wilkins at the 4 to play Ori, figuring that, Robert Ory's not a post-up player.
6 on the shot clock, and Wilkins knocking the ball away. And the Spurs committing the foul. So the Sonics have not lost any aggressiveness in this game. They were not aggressive at all in the first 2 games of the series, but have not lost any of it since going on the road here.
But the Spurs have to match their aggressiveness without making stupid fouls. They have got to definitely intensify a little bit more than what they're doing right now.
No foul on the play. Out of bounds. And Rittenauer's shot might have been deflected. And the foul against San Antonio inside, according to Louis Grillo, and it'll be on Robert Ory. And a timeout with under 9 minutes remaining in the second. And the Seattle Sonics are hanging in there. Emotional 5th game, as you might expect. It didn't look like a series.
Much about big guys stepping off and facing. He was one of the first guys that I remember seeing that could face up and nail it.
When Jack played for us in Milwaukee, we turned him into a 3-point shooter. He's a monster.
Out of need.
Now, there are a lot of guys his size who go for the 3-point shot. Fortson and Allen knocking the ball away nearly, and Brent Barry yelling for a foul to no avail. 8.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Spurs leading by 6. We're up by 9. Seattle has never been in front. And a blocking foul. And that will be called against Damian Wilkins. And that will be the second team foul against the Sonics.
I tell you, the Sonics are really making you pay a price when you cut down low on that baseline and cut through, because they're touching people.
Tony Parker back in the game. Parker 1 for 6 thus far. 4 on the shot clock, and Brent Barry working against Allen, who has 2 fouls. And Allen will bring it up. Allen thus far 1 for 3, fires a 3 and misses. And right now, the guards for Seattle, if you count Antonio Daniels, are 4 for 13, Mike.
Well, that's been the problem for tonight's game. They cannot make shots from the outside, and Popovich staying with the same defensive consistency on the pick and rolls or anything they're playing. Play these guys soft, make them have to shoot shots, except for Ray Allen. Get up in Ray Allen's face, double team him, no clean looks for Ray.
And you think Ray needs a big game for Seattle to have a shot?
Absolutely.
He needs a huge game, but you always expect him to score with him because he can score in bundles.
He scored 2 of the bundle right there. 4 points for him. For Ray Allen, it's 31-7. Allen right now averaging over 27 a game in the playoffs. 4th in postseason. Duncan against Fortson. And the one-hander by Duncan, who has 9.
See, and that's where Fortson is at a disadvantage because of Duncan's limp. When Duncan is running around on the outside, he can play out there, but I'd rather see him out of there if I were Nate.
Ori on Rittenauer will have to get rid of it with plenty of time on the shot clock. Wilkins going in with a slam.
Well, he did a great job there of not settling for the 3-point shot. He had the defense come, run out of control at him, and pump fake, got him up in the air and attacked the basket.
He want to be a slam dunk guy like his uncle.
See, Dominique. And it's a smart move, too, because Tim is very tentative right now because of the foul situation he's in.
And Fortson trying to stay with Duncan. Talk about foul situation. Fortson committing his 2nd foul.
Again, you see here Damian Wilkins pump fakes right there, gets Ori up in the air, then he attacks the rim, goes strong and flushes for the easy 2 points.
Devin Brown is checked in the game for the Spurs. Brown, who missed the last 13 games with a back injury toward the end of the season, played the most minutes of the playoffs, 13, and he is good with the small team, but he is limited as far as his jumping ability because of the injury.
Well, Pop's going a little bit deeper earlier than we expected in this game to put Devin Brown in.
And Jerome James who has 2 fouls, has come in the game, and Murray committing the foul, and he'll come out of the game, replaced by Antonio Daniels. 3 on Murray, who that will not be a big factor for Seattle as the Sonics trail by 4.
Well, Tony Parker is really interesting in watching him. Psychologically, you wonder whether he's questioning himself a lot because he's not as aggressive as he usually is. I realize that he's better in transition than in half court, but he's still not aggressive.
Ginobili hitting a 3. Manu Ginobili now with 14 points and has hit 7 of 12 from three-point range in this series. Allen on the pick and roll to James, and the Spurs saw a lot of that in game number 3.
Well, the thing about that play right there, that it was a quick hitter. They went to a dribble weave first, drew the defense away, then they set the quick pick and roll. He was able to find James.
Here's Nazr Mohammed, who's had a big first half thus far against James, and turns it over. It is a traveling called against Nazr Mohammed.
Well, again, you know, here you go. You see a dribble weave. Ray Allen's going to come up, get the handoff, then use the quick pick and roll. And they're paying so much attention to Ray. He goes up like he's going to shoot the ball and finds James on the quick roll.
6 minutes gone by in the second.
Same play again.
Ray Allen hitting the jumper. So Allen now getting hot, has 6 points since coming back, playing with 2 fouls. And you would figure Ray Allen would know how to play with fouls like this.
Well, the difference is you saw they run the same play 2 consecutive times. The first time, the big man is up there saying, I've got Ray Allen coming off this pick. I'm going to stop Ray Allen. I'm not going to give Ray Allen a jump shot. And he touches off for the dunk. Second time around, comes in right into that pocket and drains the sweet jumper.
Call that picking your poison.
The offensive glass, they've gone to the line 6 more times than the Sonics, who have yet to hit a 3, and yet San Antonio is only up by 3. That's not bad news for Seattle.
No, it's not. And if this, you know, Ray Allen is the key. Once he starts coming back, being able to make shots, loosening up his defense, get other guys back involved.
Manu Ginobili has been out of sight. He is 8 for 13 now in the series from three-point range. He has 17 in the first half, and it's a 6-point lead. Allen to Ridnour. Bowen is guarding Ridnour right now and doing a good job of it. Ridnour finds an open space and hits. Luke Ridnour with his second basket of the game.
Well, what the Sonics are doing is, against the overplays on their pick and rolls up top, they're going this dribble weave to try and get the big men out of position, and it's worked for them 3 of the last 4 possessions.
Daniels fighting through, loses Ginobili, who lays it in. You lose Ginobili, you get burned. Manu with 19 points after scoring 15 in game 4.
And he puts so much pressure on the defense because he's always going north and south rather than east and west. You can put pressure on a guy who's not going to the basket. As you see right now, I mean, this guy's probing. He's looking to go to the basket with the basketball. It's always harder to defend the guy that's coming at you than the guy that's running sideways.
Bowen committing the foul. Non-shooting situation, under 5 minutes remaining in the second. Dick Stockton, along with Mike Dunleavy, John Thompson, Charles Davis here at the SBC Center. Off the mark, Allen knew it, and there is Wilkins trying for another chance, and he's fouled. Good position by Damian Wilkins, and Ray Allen has to be separated, but I don't see Bowen in the picture, so it's not Bowen that he's mad at.
Well, he and Tim Duncan were having words right there. That's unusual because both of those guys are usually very much under control.
Tony Parker with his second foul, and Damian Wilkins to the line. That is the Spurs' 15th foul. And here it's Damian Wilkins on the line, undrafted out of the University of Georgia. And Rick Son, the team's general manager, said this guy's been better at every venue. He's better at Georgia than he was at NC State where he started. Better at the pre-draft Chicago tryout than he was at Georgia, and better yet in the summer league camp. So he gets better at different levels, though he misses his first.
Well, he's giving them a good lift from an energy standpoint and physical toughness in this game. You know, last game he got in off the offensive boards. You got to put a body on him. Once he found Tony Parker switched off to him, he took him down into the paint and just jumped over him, got 2 offensive boards.
Robert Horry replaces Devin Brown, and Wilkins misses both. 6-point lead for the Spurs. San Antonio losing only 4 games here at the SBC Center all year, including the playoffs. One of those defeats administered by the Sonics in December. Here's Bowen for 3, and he hits. Bowen's been quiet offensively throughout the series.
That's the shot he loves. He loves the corner three-point ball, and it's been very rare in this series where he's been set up for that shot.
So once again, Spurs doing well from 3, and Seattle is not, although Jerome James slams one through, and James emphatically, that's his second field goal of the game.
Well, he sort of is imitating Mohammed on that one. When he moves on the weak side and gets into windows and guards door to defense, he's a lot better player.
Duncan goes around James, and he looked like a man possessed on that area.
Boy, oh boy. Wow.
You see Ginobili and Tim Duncan. Anytime they get Jerome James on him, they're looking to try and attack him.
Duncan with 9. Rittenhour backs it in.
All of a sudden, now these Sonic guards are coming alive, making shots. And as they do that, they've created some opportunities for Jerome James, rolling to the basket.
That's why you can see Popovich on the other side. He doesn't have a happy face right now because that was one of the things that he realizes. You can't let guys like Rittenhour and Daniels get up ahead of steam the way they did in the last game.
Jerome James with a smile on his face goes to the bench, replaced by Nick Collison. Robert Horry committing the offensive foul. 7-point lead for San Antonio.
I don't know what he's smiling about. The guy comes from the corner and dunks on you like that.
Ray Allen guarded by Bowen, and now Duncan lays it in anyway. Nifty play by Ray Allen, who has 8 points all here in the second quarter.
That's the thing that's so dangerous about Ray, though. He scores in bushes. All of a sudden he's quiet, and then he just explodes like it's thundering and raining.
Collison against Duncan. Double team with Ray Allen. Bowen has hit a 3, and misses a 2-point attempt. Rittenhour to push it up. Now Bowen and Daniels. Daniels going strong to the basket, and it rolls off the rim.
I think he made a mistake there. He avoided the contact of Tim Duncan, but I think he could have created the foul.
Looking for Duncan in the low post with Collison defending. Tony Parker working his way in. Fouled.
Tony was very aggressive right there. Once he found the smaller Rittenhour on him, he took him into the paint, showed a lot of patience, and went up strong over Rittenhour. He knew he wasn't going to get knocked to the ground there.
Well, and you got to think that he's going to explode sooner or later. When you see a guy that's struggling a little bit the way he is now, players talking to him and counseling him, you know that he's going to explode.
The lead is 5. San Antonio has been in front all the way. Had some words and maybe a little shove, and here's why. And it was Bruce Bowen getting in his way, and this was the play and the response from Ray Allen. Tim Duncan saying, whoa, let's wait a minute. Here's what Dick Bavetta said during that sequence.
I didn't see that, but if you stay with me, we have no problem. You just stay with me, we're okay. Right? We have no problem.
Dick,
yeah.
He's throwing elbows and trying to get away with it.
You made me aware of it. Let me take care of it.
What happened was they got in tight, and Bowen went with the body punch. Gave him a little shot at the elbow, and Ray responded. He says, I don't want people taking shots at me.
Well, and he was just showing a little bit of affection for Ray. But, that's Bruce Bowen's job. In order to guard somebody, and you can see right here, Tim Duncan is trying to calm him down. But Bruce Bowen, when you're guarding a guy like Ray Allen, you have to almost do anything to him but hurt him to try to stop him.
Well, he's trying to get his body punches in to wear him down for that late fourth quarter shots.
But I tell you what, Ray Allen gives me the impression that that's not going to wear him down. Boy, you better watch out. You better build an ark and collect 2 animals.
Boy, this is point counterpoint if I ever saw it at the line between Duncan and Allen. One free throw, but it comes back into Parker's hands. Tell you what, who's going to win the fight on points between Bowen and Allen? That's what I want to know, because it'll go the distance. Well, here's Parker driving in, fouled by Collison.
And that's why Tony is going in. And and they've made a peeper out of him. You know, good defensive players have a way of doing that. If they can't stop you and you have the kind of night that he had in the beginning, you make a peeper out of him.
Collison with a foul.
And this is it. He's going down to the basket. It appears to be open, but Collison goes in. He stops him from putting it up, and he really sends, you know, a message to him. I don't think he's trying to hurt him. I don't want to give that impression, but he's doing his job. He's stopping him from saying, hey, you're not going to have a freeway here in this lane.
Absolutely. This is the playoffs. This is it. It comes down to it. You cannot let guys have free layups.
Parker.
Sounds like when you were playing in the rectal area, wasn't it? Score gets tight. They said no layups now. You better shoot your jumper.
No blood, no foul.
Rucker League in New York, in one of the great playground leagues, pickup games in the history of basketball. Great lore that produced many great NBA stars over the years. Wind down to 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Ray Allen against Duncan, and it goes through. So Duncan avoiding his third foul, but Allen getting his 10th point. He leads the Sonics 10 here in the second quarter.
There's some guys in this game you don't want to get excited, and I think that Ray, you might be better off cutting it and being nice to him.
Parker driving in on the pick and roll, and it falls off. And here come the Sonics. Spurs get back quickly on defense. 6-point lead for San Antonio. And Daniels in the lane, trapped. Wilkins, plenty of time on the shot clock. And tips it in for the field goal. Damian Wilkins now with 4 points off the bench.
Well, he's done a terrific job of being in attack mode. He was the quickest jump up after that miss.
And the deficit down to 4.
And I think the Sonics have done a smart thing in attacking, particularly knowing the situation that Tim's in. He's tentative about trying to block shots.
And both in and out. Duncan offensive rebound and the foul. And Duncan upset that the ball didn't go through. Duncan right now with 9 will go to the line to shoot 2. And Collison has picked up his 3rd foul. 3 on Collison as we send it to Ernie Johnson in our studio. I have a feeling, Ernie, when you say candid assessment, that it's going to be one we're going to want to hear, as Tim Duncan going for his 10th point and misses the free throw. Right now the Spurs are 12 of 17 from the line, and Vitaly Potapico coming into the game and forced to play in this first half with Collison in foul trouble.
So Collison's going to look back on this film in this first half, and he's going to realize that when shots have gone up, instead of going, creating his own space, but going, taking to the body, he's letting guys come in and push him under, and they're getting those deep catches and offensive boards against him.
Duncan missed them both. And now a 4-point game. So the Sonics have weathered the first quarter. And Nate McMillan said if we can weather a couple of roundhouse blows from the Sonics and from the Spurs, we'll be in good shape. They have. Here's Ray Allen hitting a 3. And it's a 1-point game, 49 to 48. And this is the closest that the Sonics have been. They have not had the lead. Ginobili nearly lost it. And the foul inside, and let's see if Potapico gets called for the foul on Duncan, and it will be on Vitaly.
Well, he's being too obvious right there. You've got to be he used a little discretion. He's just laying on his back and beating on him.
Well, Duncan, after getting to the free throw line last time and missing 2.
Maybe a good strategy.
Well, you wonder if he's just going to gain his rhythm by putting him in there so soon.
And he's 1 for 5 right now. Tomorrow on TNT, it's Game 5 between the Mavericks and the Suns. Coverage begins at 9 p.m. Eastern. Brent Barry will check into the game.
You know, Tim keeps shooting free throws like this. It's going to be Hacker Tim in the latter stages of this game.
Duncan now 2 of 6. Jerome James still smiling on the bench. James has scored 4 points. He picked up 2 early fouls, and the Spurs leading by 2. Ray Allen changes hands and ties the game. Now Ray Allen with 15 points, all here in the second.
That was a great finish by Ray Allen. He noticed he had Tony Parker on him, a smaller player. He went right to attack mode, gets to the rim. Duncan comes over, changes hands as you described. A sensational shot by Ray Allen.
Shut out in the first quarter, picking up 2 fouls and going to the bench, playing the zone here are the Spurs with 9 on the shot clock. 13-plus, Tony Parker trying to get in the paint. Does, but can't put it through, and the rebound taken down by Daniels. Final seconds of this first half, and inside Wilkins, but he stepped on the line, and it goes over to San Antonio.
Daniels missed an opportunity right there to give the ball handle off to Ray Allen for a three-point look.
And they've gotten into Tony Parker's head. He's getting good looks and missing.
But the Seattle Sonics have drawn even with the San Antonio Spurs. Duncan with 10, but Ginobili leads with 19. Ray Allen with 15 big points here in the second quarter, and tied at 50 at halftime. Tim Duncan with 10, Ginobili with 19, Parker with 5 on 1 for 8 shooting. Underscoring John Thompson's thoughts as we start the third quarter. Rittenauer is guarding Parker. Allen with 15, and then Daniels with 8, top Seattle. Nazi Muhammad with a good 9.6 rebound first half, and missing the first shot, and James got in the way of Evans, and the Sonics lose the ball out of bounds.
So I like it a lot more when Nazi is on the offside. I'd rather see Tim in that position looking to score. Nazi following up. But again, Tony Parker's got to come out with an attitude right now. He should go right after Luke Rittenauer.
Duncan setting the screen, and on the switch, Evans picks up Ginobili. Now Daniels is there, and Nazi Muhammad with the reverse play.
Well, that's what I was talking about. The offside is very effective, getting them in to commit, particularly an aggressive player like Ginobili, and then he'll get an easy shot.
Muhammad now with 11 into double figures. Bowen is on Allen. And on the flash switch, Muhammad on him. Double team. Ginobili knocks it away, and it's a 3-on-1. Manu Ginobili fouled.
You know, halfway would have liked to have seen Ginobili dish that off right there to Tony to help to build his confidence up and get him going a little bit right now.
Saw that. You saw in that last play down on the pick and roll here where they double teamed Ray Allen. He tried to make a pass from too far across the court, and Ginobili did a great job of stepping into that passing lane, getting a piece of it, turn into a turnover, easy opportunity at the other end.
Luke Rittenauer with his second foul, and Manu Ginobili looking for his 21st point. Charles Davis.
Guys, I talked with Dwayne Casey from Seattle, and he said in the first half they felt like they overreacted to everything Manu Ginobili did, and too many guys were running at him and creating too many open shots. On defense, they want contested two-point shots a lot better. From San Antonio, P.J. Carlissimo said they've got to push it more and contain the ball better versus Seattle's small lineup.
And they push it when they have defensive stops like they did there, but the Sonics got back defensively, John.
That's not pushing it. You get Parker involved a lot more.
Muhammad got 3, and James lost Nazi Muhammad, and a quick timeout called by Nate McMillan as the Spurs score the first 6 points of this third quarter.
Well, James really was coming over to support the strong side on defense. That was one of the guards' fault. They should have dropped down between Ray Allen and Antonio Daniels. You see, Evans has a mismatch here. James comes over. Nobody in the weak side zone was there to help out.
Don't often see it by the Spurs in the backcourt as Daniels brings it across. Daniels with Evans, James, Rittenauer, Allen. And the pick and roll to James misses the slam, but Rittenauer is there. And out of bounds, Duncan trying to save it. And it was last touched by the Spurs.
And James was there. He made a good move on the pick and roll and roll into the basket. He was in a great position to get an offensive rebound, but he's so busy fussing with the official about the call that he didn't catch the ball. He could have put it right in the basket.
James with 4 points, no rebounds, 2 personal fouls thus far. Rittenauer finding James inside, gets his own rebound, misses 2 shots there. Good hustle by Reggie Evans. Evans with a couple of pump fakes decides better of going up against Duncan.
Good decision.
Daniels going back, and the shot clock at 9, and finally going through for James. If you don't succeed, James now with 6.
Get the wishbone out of your pocket.
So the first points for the Sonics, and it comes to 2.5 minutes gone by in this third quarter. Here's Manu Ginobili. Manu Ginobili from 3 is 3 for 3 tonight, and has been out of sight in the playoffs. He has hit 9 of 12.
He's hit 3 from the same spot in this game.
And the three-point attempt missed that time by Luke Ridnour. 3 minutes gone by. Here's Parker trying to get going. Evans gets a piece of the pass and the turnover.
So Tony Parker's really struggling.
Rarely does he have back-to-back games like this, like he did in Game 4, and having it again 1 for 9 shooting here.
You dribble into all that traffic, and then you pick up your dribble and get in the air. You better know who you're going to throw it to.
Daniels going up, and let's see if Tim Duncan gets called for his 3rd foul, and it will be 3 against Duncan, and it comes with 8:37 remaining in the third.
Well, Antonio Daniels did a very nice job there of spacing the court, isolating Tim Duncan, and attacking, taking it to his body, and going up, making contact first, and worrying about the finish later.
Daniels is 4 for 4 from the line in this game, 25 of 27 in the series.
Well, anytime a big guy like Tim Duncan gets isolated on a guy like Daniels, he needs a lot of moral support from behind. Somebody should be talking, Tim, I'm back here, so he won't foul the guy.
Antonio Daniels, who has a home here in San Antonio, played on the last championship team that hangs here at SBC Center, makes 1 out of 2 from the line. Spurs by 6. Evans trying to knock it away from Parker. Bowen is looking for Duncan, and James defending Duncan. Single coverage, they go inside, and the basket counts. Nazi Muhammad coming up big from the center position. They did not produce many points in Game 4, but Muhammad has 15 and a chance for the three-point play.
Well, he caught the weak side defense peeking. Everybody was taking a look at Tim Duncan and how they were going to defend Tim Duncan on the play. He just flashed from underneath the weak side basket, and Tim Duncan made a great pass to him. Deep catch, deep finish, and 1 free throw coming up.
Reggie Evans commits the foul.
You know, the great thing about what he's doing, most big guys think if you go away from the ball, you won't receive the ball. But Muhammad is doing a great job of reading opportunities off of other players' offensive moves.
And Nazi Muhammad with 16 is a playoff high for him. He had 15 against Denver, but has exceeded that. At least have only 4 minutes gone by in the third quarter. Huge game for Nazi Muhammad. Luke Ridnour wending his way in. Parker stays with him, but now the shot clock is down to 3. And the whistle. And the 3-second violation called against Reggie Evans. Spurs have a 9-point lead. Ginobili and Nazi Muhammad have 40 points. The rest of the team 22. Normally Duncan would be in that first line.
Well, again, a lot of attention being paid to Duncan, and Muhammad, everything on the weak side. He can step it in, get an easy basket, just like that one right there.
Luke Ridnour was the guy defending him down low.
Well, it's going to be a hard time keeping Muhammad on the farm now, boy. He's really playing well.
Biggest lead of the game for the Spurs. Muhammad has 9 points here in the quarter. And a huge third quarter start for the Spurs. Here comes Parker. And underneath, they're going to call Manu Ginobili with the foul. And Dick Bavetta telling Greg Popovich, get back to your bench. It's on Ginobili. And for Manu, that will be his second. And the double foul apparently called with Evans as well. So double foul, Ginobili and Evans.
Well, here it is right here. You see James getting ready to move right there. Well, I don't know about that one, but Tony Parker, I'm sorry, that Ginobili was in a position where he was under the basket real good, and they really came behind him and did push him.
It is an 11-point lead, and Evans on the bench right now. Manu Ginobili with 21 points, and Nazi Muhammad with 18 now on 8 for 10 shooting, and Ginobili with another 3 three-pointer is 4 for 4 from three-point range.
You know, you just can't go under on pick and rolls on Ginobili. Right now, I mean, he's made three from the wing position, and now he just comes up out of the corner and drains another three. Tim Duncan on the play makes a quick swing to Ginobili in the corner, and, you know, the defense tried to go underneath the pick.
27 points for Manu Ginobili as the Spurs come out to a 17-3 start here in the third. Los Angeles Sparks travel to Seattle to take on Sue Bird and the defending champion Seattle Storm this Saturday at 4 p.m. on ABC. And for the Spurs guys, Nazr Mohammed and Manu Ginobili have accounted for all 17 points, including a pair of threes by Manu Ginobili.
Well, they've just done such a great job of playing off the weak side. Mohammed has been off the weak side, living off of Tim Duncan and Ginobili. And Ginobili has just been pounding down the outside shots with the Sonics, afraid of his drive.
And Daniels hitting the shot. The Sonics started the game shooting 1 for 10. They started the third quarter at 1 for 8 before Daniels' basket. Faked by Ginobili. Plenty of time on the shot clock for San Antonio. Parker trying to get on track. Picked up by Collison, who has 3 fouls. Ginobili trying another 3. And he's fouled, and it's going to be a 3-shot situation for Manu Ginobili. Shaking his head is Antonio Daniels. So a 3-shot foul coming up for Manu Ginobili.
Well, Parker takes Collison off the dribbles, draws the defense to him, and kicks to the corner. And on the shot, you know, Antonio Daniels comes through him and fouls him.
You know, it's interesting in watching Tony Parker. You know, the Spurs are doing great right now without him. But Tony is not pressing, and that's impressive, too, because he's really had an opportunity to take that shot, and he passed it out.
He's letting the game come to him, and the game is being controlled for Greg Popovich's team by the Nazr Mohammeds and Manu Ginobili's. 3 free throws by Ginobili, who has 30 points tonight in 23 minutes and a 15-point San Antonio advantage.
Not only did he bring the points, but Ginobili brings an attitude of aggressiveness that counteracts the aggressiveness that the Sonics had in the last game.
And so Manu Ginobili getting back his starting position here in game number 5, paying dividends for the Spurs.
Well, Ginobili, you know, Popovich gives him the start. I think it was the right call by Greg. Right here again, making the pass, finding Mohammed again. Mohammed on the weak side again. So much attention being paid to him. What a great job. What a great game so far for Manu Ginobili.
And after Parker's foul, Nick Collison going in, and he has a chance for the three-point play. Robert Horry chalks up his 3rd personal foul, and here is Collison, who has struggled from the free throw line in this series. He was 4 for 9 coming in from the line, and his first attempts tonight.
Well, he can't afford to struggle from the free throw line because of how he plays.
Right.
He looks for fouls when he goes to the basket. He doesn't mind putting his body in there.
The Mohammed and Ginobili have all 20 for the Spurs. Nearly halfway through this third quarter, Mohammed bobbled the pass, but will get a chance to go to the line. Fortson raises his hand. He knows Collison has 3 personal fouls, and the foul is charged to Collison. So you kind of knew when Fortson raised his hand fast, he wanted to protect Collison, who has 4.
You know, but the part of Seattle's defense that has to improve is their weak side. Their guards, the low zone man on the weak side, is not sinking and filling down and protecting against that big man down in the paint. And the Spurs have found Mohammed quite a number of times, not only in the game, but here in this third quarter.
See, and I think you hit the nail right on the head earlier, Mike, when you said that Ginobili has been so aggressive that it has created so much attention. As you look at it now, the ball goes in the post. You got to give Mohammed credit, though, because a lot of big guys will stand outside, not read the windows of opportunity to receive. He's moving excellently into position to make people pay for helping.
Damian Wilkins has replaced Nick Collison, who goes to the bench with 4 fouls. He has scored 9 points. He's had a very consistent series. Had 10 points in the third game of the series, the most he has, and it's 71-58. And Nazir Muhammad has now a career playoff high 19 points.
You got to keep an eye on Ray Allen, though, because you just get the impression all the time of him that he's the quiet before the storm.
Well, right now, he's had a tough time this quarter, even getting an opportunity or a shot.
Rittenauer missing from the corner, and Muhammad getting another rebound. Ray Allen is yet to score here in the third quarter, and the Spurs have opened up a 13-point lead. Nearly 5.5 remaining. Ginobili doing everything right tonight. Continues to do so, and the basket counts and a chance for another three-point play. Boy, does he come out strong tonight, getting his starting post back.
Well, he takes Ray Allen across the middle. Big man steps up, Fortson steps up, and gets flips him, and a great finish by Ginobili.
32 points for Manu Ginobili, who led the Spurs in Game 1 when they routed Seattle by 22. He had 29 in that game, and a Robert Horry down on the floor, and another foul called against the Sonics.
I think the foul was on Horry, and then Fortson gets a technical foul for pushing Horry.
I saw the technical on Fortson, but Horry didn't receive the foul.
I'm trying to figure out what did Fortson do?
So Ginobili hitting the technical, and he's got 33. Let's see what happened with Fortson. That could have gone either way.
That could have gone either way. He's doing his job. I mean, he's out there, he's getting paid to rebound. I think his reputation got that foul called on him, as is the case a lot of instances out there.
So the foul was called on Horry on the play, and then what happened was the referee felt like he pushed off with that right hand and threw Horry down on the ground for the technical foul.
Spurs have their biggest lead, 16 points, 74-58. And Manu Ginobili with 33, a career playoff high for him. Here is Daniels going back. And driving in for the layup is Damian Wilkins. So Wilkins, coming off the bench tonight, has 6, but Ray Allen has yet to score here in the third.
Yeah, but he's the quiet before the storm, though. He scores so quickly in bunches that you still better keep an eye on him.
Ginobili missing a 3, a rare miss for him from that range. So now Seattle trying to narrow the 14-point deficit. Rittenauer with a flip. Fortson, foul, basket counts. Fortson with a chance to bring the Sonics back.
Well, I'm most impressed with the job that Bruce Bowen is doing on Ray Allen again in this third quarter now. I mean, just not allowing him to get catches. And then when the Sonics try to counter by running pick and roll with Ray handling the ball up top, they're double teaming him. They're trying not to let him get off in any way this quarter.
Well, I think you're 100% right. But Ray Allen is the kind of guy that I'm never satisfied with the defensive job anybody does on him until I hit a final horn.
Nazir Muhammad picking up his third foul. Both teams in the penalty with 4:39 remaining in the quarter. And Fortson with a three-point play. And the lead is 11. Nazir Muhammad going to the bench now. And Tim Duncan out there along with Bruce Bowen, Brent Barry, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker.
Not a bad replacement.
No. Another all-star sub, so to speak. Here's Duncan turnaround. And Fortson played him well. Daniels with Ray Allen, Luke Rittenauer, Damian Wilkins, and Danny Fortson. And Parker called for another foul. This has been a frustrating game for Tony Parker, who has scored only 5 points and has 4 fouls and has shot 1 for 9 from the field.
Anytime Fortson is in the area that a whistle is blown,
He got to look around.
he grimaces.
He raises his hand.
Giving a new meaning to knee-jerk reaction.
Well, Tony has his hand rested on the hip of Antonio Daniels, and you can't. You know, the rule in the NBA is you can touch and release. You can't let the hand stay there. So it was a good call by the referee.
As the Sonics try to make a run back. Teams have won every game thus far. Spurs took the first 2 handily here in San Antonio, and then Seattle after a 1-point win as the Spurs missed 15 free throws in Game 3, and then a blowout win over the Spurs, 101-89 in Game 4. And in Game 5, Manu Ginobili back in the starting lineups, responding with a playoff career-high 33 tonight. And Nazr Mohammed with 19 points and 7 rebounds, but Ginobili 4 of 5 from three-point range, and a 17-3 burst for the Spurs starting this third quarter. And now Seattle trying to make the comeback, and Antonio Daniels on the line.
The Daniels, you know, along with Ray Allen, he's been the steadying force for this team tonight, for the Sonics, and they're fighting their way back into the game. They're not cracking under the pressure. They're playing solid defense, and now they've put some offensive possessions together in a row.
And Ray Allen, who scored all 15 of his points in the second quarter, has only tried 2 shots in the third and is yet to hit. So it's a 9-point lead for the Spurs. 4 minutes remaining. 6 on the shot clock. Fall away, short. Fortson. And Fortson making somewhat of an impact for the first time in this series.
Done a great job from coming in on the board, both ends.
7 rebounds for Danny Fortson. 10 on the shot clock. Barry picking up Allen on the switch. And Allen going up, and the foul. Looked like Barry got a piece of the ball, but then the personal foul called. And Allen will go to the line. Barry committing the personal.
Ray Allen sees the open baseline, puts it in attack mode, goes to the rim, goes up, tries to commit double clutches, and, you know, he lands on the floor, but it's kind of hard to see the foul take place.
This is Allen's first trip to the free throw line. Has hit 22 of 25 in the series, and this is the opener. Well, Thursday night on ABC, it's the Pistons and Pacers, Game 6 of their series. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern. And Thursday night on ESPN, the Spurs take on the Sonics in Game 6. Coverage begins at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Pistons lead Indiana 3-2, and the winner of this game will take a 3-2 lead of this battle.
You know, when you got a guy quiet like Ray Allen, you hate to put him on the free throw line where he might be able to, you know, get his rhythm. But in this case here, he misses 2.
Rare double miss for Ray Allen, John.
The one thing I feel is that he's the quiet before the storm. You got to feel that he's going to bust loose real soon.
You ought to be a meteorologist, because you can see the storm brewing somewhere in the Atlantic. I can tell.
Well, very definitely so, because he's got to get going.
Duncan, he hasn't gotten going in the third quarter either. Tim Duncan has 10 points in the game. That's what he had at halftime. We approach 3 minutes remaining in the quarter. Daniels with a short jumper hitting. Antonio Daniels, once again, the steadying force, has 15.
Well, again, they paid so much attention to Ray Allen. Ray Allen did not force the play. When he had 2 players jump on him, he gave the ball right up to Daniels.
Spurs trying to break a 9-0 Sonic run. And Tim Duncan puts the points in. Fortson, well, he didn't get a foul. That's a consolation. And it's a 9-point game again. Spurs in front.
Fortson's been doing a great job. He doesn't need to try and take a flop on Tim Duncan.
Well, particularly that close underneath the basket. It's not called. You're just giving a man a layup.
Duncan with 12. Ridnour, who has 7 in the game. 2-point attempt. Rebound by Glenn Robinson, seeing his first action. Robinson, good mid-range jump shot. That's what he's in there for. Misses here, and Fortson gets the rebound with 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Wilkins. Daniels, and Barry cuts off the baseline. Bowen is on Ray Allen, who has 2 points here in the third quarter. Here's Fortson going in, and no basket. The charge called against Fortson, and Brent Barry stood his ground.
You know, on this play, pick and rolls, Fortson has not been getting away from the play like James has. And in this case here, he gets it. He makes no attempt to go around Bino Udrin. I mean, he just runs him right over. Excellent call by the referee.
4 fouls on Fortson. Spurs by 9. Allen out of the game right now. Flip Murray replaces him. Bruce Bowen in the lane. Pretty play by Bowen, who tonight has 5 points. And that's the most points he has scored in any of the playoff games for San Antonio thus far.
Well, again, the defense let him beat him middle as opposed to forcing it to the baseline side. He had an easier shot.
11-point lead, so once again the Spurs have it in double digits. Wilkins fighting for the rebound and wins the battle from Barry with a new clock. And here's Rittenauer for 3. And once again, Seattle keeps the ball. Wilkins gets it out, and Daniels will set it up.
See, that's a bad sign on the Spurs' part. You don't want the Seattle players to pick up confidence right now.
And they're going to call another offensive foul. Antonio Daniels, as Bowen takes the charge.
And that was a great break, as you see right here. Daniels is Coleman and trying to fight it. He starts to go in. Bowen steps in front of him and just falls back. You don't want, if you're the Spurs, to let up right here, regardless, because you don't want the Seattle players. You've got a whole nother quarter to play. You don't want them to pick up confidence.
Half a minute remaining in the third. Spurs have withstood one comeback attempt by the Sonics. Duncan was really looking for the foul on that play. And now, Louis Grillos changes the call, said it was deflected off of a Seattle player, so the Spurs will have 7 seconds to attempt the shot.
That was a good call by Louis Grillo. Right here, Fortson doing a good job bodying up right there. Got away with the foul, I think, in that case. And then coming in, Seattle knocks the ball out of bounds.
See the difference right there, Mike. He didn't flop that time. The last time he flopped and gave Duncan a clear passage to the basket.
And Duncan going against Collison. His second effort doesn't go. Crashing the boards is Robinson. And out of bounds, it'll be Sonics ball. Beno Udrih appealing to Louis Grillo to no avail.
Well, the Sonics are just lucky on that one because the Spurs were tapping and tapping. All they had to do is knock it out of there. You know, you're looking at it right here. Tim gets one shot up. They get a second one. They get their hands on it again, I think, here, where it goes out of bounds. But you want to just knock it out of bounds. You're better off setting up your defense at that point.
Ray Allen has come back in the game as the Sonics will set up the final shot. And right now, Nazr Mohammed and Devin Brown. Tim Duncan will go to the bench with 12. He scored 2 here in the third quarter. So Damian Wilkins will inbound with just under 16 seconds to go in the third quarter. Here's Ray Allen with the ball. Has not made a basket here in the third quarter. Allen goes up, draws the foul, and will go to the line to shoot again. 2 shots coming up for Allen. The foul is on Bowen, his third.
You know, in some ways, the way they're defending Ray Allen on these plays right now, I'm not sure they wouldn't be better off just giving him catches at the top of the key where he could be isolated against Bruce Bowen instead of bringing guys into the play where they have a chance to give extra help to Ray Allen.
John, it's interesting that Ray Allen and Tim Duncan, the 2 leading players for these teams, not much of a factor in this third quarter, and other people filling the bill.
Well, but the interesting thing about it, Dick, is that even though they aren't scoring points themselves, both of those guys require so much attention in terms of guys helping and looking and denying and trapping them that they create points for other people, so it's misleading the points that they're responsible for out there.
Double technical foul called against Bruce Bowen and Nick Collison. And Ray Allen has missed 3 in a row. He had only missed 3 in the entire series coming in.
That's got to be a little bit of a, takeaway from his confidence, as far as getting open shots. When you're not getting shots, you think you're going to calibrate from the free throw line and, and catch and get a rhythm. Right here, it's got to put doubt in Ray's mind.
Well, every time he misses one, everybody's surprised, too. He could miss 10 in a row, and I'd be surprised that he missed the 11th one.
Shocked.
10-point game. Final seconds of the third quarter. Glenn Robinson, and that'll do it. We were tied at 50 all at halftime, and the San Antonio Spurs outscore the Sonics by 10, 28-18. Sparked by Ginobili and Mohammed. Flip Murray is into the game. And there's a problem with one of the clocks, 24-second clock. Had stopped apparently, or one remained at 24. So we can then tell you that Damian Wilkins, Flip Murray, Ray Allen, Nick Collison, and Antonio Daniels. So a four-guard offense, so to speak. Collison, the only front court player in the lineup for the Sonics.
Very important for the Sonics to get a good defensive start and don't let the Spurs pick up momentum.
And the block from behind. Collison went in, and the block was by Glenn Robinson. So now the Sonics on defense. Beno Udrih, Bowen into Duncan with Robinson and Barry for the Spurs. Here is Duncan, and the hold is called against Collison, and that will be 5 on him. So Nick Collison has picked up his 5th foul. One more and he's gone. And there's a man that Nate McMillan sorely needs.
Well, the Spurs are doing a good job of getting the ball in because Ginobili's not in the game. You want to go to Tim for the first option. He's going to the basket and really, you know, it's a tough call. But in the second token, Tim Duncan's going to get the benefit of the doubt with that.
And Collison remains in the game with 5. So Nate McMillan staying with him, Mike.
And they're going right back at him.
Duncan with the one-hander scores. Duncan, who only scored 2 in the third quarter, now has 14 in the game, and Spurs up by 12.
But with Ginobili not in the game, you got to think that they're going to Duncan first.
Ray Allen coming with a 3, so the Sonics have only 2 threes tonight, both by that man, Ray Allen, who has 19.
So Ray decides to play in the second and the fourth quarters.
I see the clouds forming.
Yes, that's right. You're the weatherman here. Looks to be an even number night for Ray Allen. Duncan with the miss. And here's Allen. He said, I'll take the even quarters. Crossing over against Bowen. Feeding Collison in the foul before the shot. Actually, there was no shot. And the Spurs committing the personal foul, and it will be on Beno Udrih.
I think it's so impressive with Ray Allen. As much as we're talking about that he hasn't really gotten off, he's aware of it too, but he's still making plays as opposed to forcing the play.
Antonio Daniels and Nick Collison will go to the bench. And Jerome James has checked back in, along with Reggie Evans. Pick and roll, James. And this slam didn't go, and it'll be a foul called against Manu Ginobili. A blocking foul inside as Jerome James once again on the pick and roll. His slam went almost to half court.
Well, again, you're going to see the double team to Ray Allen. Patience, he draws the defense and makes a nice pass. You know, James should have finished this shot. No matter what kind of contact there was, he's got to finish. He's missed 2 of those tonight, and there was maybe some contact down low. He got lucky to get that foul call.
He has made only 5 of 8 coming into this game in the series from the line, but connects here and can make it a 7-point lead if he is successful. He is, and it's now 80-73. The Spurs lead early here in the fourth. Winner of this game takes a 3-2 advantage in the best of 7 with Game 6 Thursday night in Seattle.
And you can see the whole defense starting to gravitate towards the lane the minute Ginobili gets the ball. That's why Duncan was open on the weak side.
Duncan, meanwhile, lost it out of bounds. Appeals to Louis Grillo to no avail again. So now Seattle making an early run, Mike, here in the fourth quarter. Trying to win on the road.
Trying to shift this momentum, trying to quiet this crowd.
They're trying to win and go home.
Go home to play another day with a lead.
Absolutely.
Not an easy task against this Spurs team. Here's Jerome James. And that drops for James. So Jerome James now with 10 points. 4 here in the fourth quarter. The lead for the Spurs down to 5.
Well, again, the tighter this game becomes here at home, the pressure shifts to San Antonio.
They controlled the first quarter, which was the worrisome quarter for Nate McMillan. And then really had a big third quarter to open it up. Duncan, Ginobili with the tip. And the Sonics committing the foul on Manu Ginobili. And the foul will be against Allen. Third on Ray Allen, who picked up the first 2 early in the game.
Well, you know, that play right there, that was bad from the standpoint, the second chance opportunity. Right here, Ray Allen, another pick and roll, and he waits for the defense, and then he makes the pass back to James, who's able to roll down the lane and finish, you know, at the rim. Last time down, though, I mean, big possession for San Antonio. They kicked the ball out to Duncan, a shot out of his range. You pretty much think he's going to miss it, and you let Ginobili, who gets himself in the right place at the right time, slip in and get that offensive rebound. That really hurts Seattle.
Tony Parker, who has had his problems tonight, replaces Dana Udrich as Ginobili has 13 of 15 from the line. The one thing about Manu Ginobili, he will get to the strike. Relentless going to the basket, Tom.
Well, in every aspect of the game, as Mike indicated, that was a tip in. A lot of guys just will do one thing. He'll drive, he'll shoot, he'll tap.
Allen missing the three, and Duncan and Parker coming down with it with Parker. So Ginobili with 35. That's what Tim Duncan had in game number 4 in a losing cause. Here's Barry for three. And Barry trying to get that three-point shot going. And Allen going in, and the foul before the shot. And it will be called on Bruce Bowen. And Bowen now with 4 personal fouls.
You see in the transition opportunity, as soon as Ray Allen saw the opportunity to get to that rim, he put it in overdrive and created contact with Bowen.
You know, Ray is so smart. He's drawing so much attention to Bowen guarding him that anytime he penetrates, he gets a good chance of getting the call.
Didn't have control that much as he went up for that shot.
Probably was looking for the foul.
Rittenhour guarding Parker, stays with Tony Parker. And Parker continues to struggle as Murray gets the rebound. Parker now 1 for 10 from the field. And the ball thrown away. And a timeout called. So emotion picks up. Nate McMillan unsigned for next year, believe it or not. No one thought Seattle was going to do anything. Some thought last place, but they're battling mighty San Antonio in Game 5.
Ginobili stepping up tonight with 35 points in the starting role for Greg Popovich. Shows great body control, going across the middle with a beautiful finish.
How about these numbers? I don't like to give off a whole slew of them, but here they are. 9 of 12 shooting, 4 of 5 from 3. 13 of 15 from the line, and leading the team with 4 assists, 35 points.
And he plays the game at both ends extremely hard, and it's very much a pleasure to watch playing. He's a fun player to watch.
And no turnovers, I'll add that. Ray Allen in and out for a three-point attempt. Duncan with the rebound, his 13th of the game.
Ray's had 2 deep threes on set-up plays, then go down the hole and come out.
Parker's not even looking to score now. He's probing to try to make plays.
And Chris Bowen with a three, his second of the game. So getting some three-point production from Bowen tonight.
A little in the zone coming down that last time, and Bowen goes to his favorite spot, the corner.
And a 10-point lead again, 85-75. And the offensive foul called against the Sonics. And Ray Allen now has 4 to the delight of the crowd and the dismay of Nate McMillan. Allen with 19 points, had 15 at the half. Has a 3 here in the 4th quarter, and they're going to need a lot of Ray Allen to make a challenge here. 7:45 remaining in the 4th quarter of the pivotal Game 5. 7 on the clock. Duncan. And it drops. Tim Duncan. Now with 16.
That was actually pretty good defense by James. Duncan just got a good roll on the play.
12-point lead, and here's Damian Wilkins. Big 3 for Damian Wilkins. What pressure he has shown. A rookie, undrafted rookie at that.
But again, given the opportunity, you know, guys in this league will step up, and, you know, he's showing great poise the last couple of ball games.
Approaching 7 minutes to go, Robert Horry, guarded by Allen. Remember, Allen has 4. Ginobili pulls up short with it, and James with the rebound.
And a good play by Wilkins again. I mean, he's playing a little attitude, a little flair. That's what the Sonics need right now.
9-point game. Wilkins from outside.
Let's not get out of character now.
Here's Parker. Duncan. And Wilkins getting the rebound, and they're going to call Wilkins with the elbowing Manu Ginobili. Costly foul right there, because Seattle had the ball down by 9. And now Wilkins commits the foul.
Yeah, it's really too bad. He's playing such a great game, you know. I mean, from an effort standpoint, Ginobili doing what he does best, just being a pest. You know, comes up underneath him. He comes up tighter and tighter, gets in a position to where your reaction sometimes is just to, you know, get that arm out there, get the guy away. And Manu, you know, I can get you a couple of acting parts in Hollywood anytime you want to show up.
9-point game. Ginobili again, finger roll, and Manu Ginobili, after Seattle had the ball, 37 points. They get it back. 10 of 13 shooting for Manu Ginobili. He's the star tonight for the Spurs, trying to hang on and win game 5. Ridnour in the basket, counts and a foul. Luke Ridnour. And Duncan is about as animated as you'll ever see him following the foul. 4 on Duncan.
There's the bonus.
Right here you see Ginobili taking the ball to the rim, and nobody steps up. And he's got that great ability to stretch out and make the scoop shot. And then Ridnour again attacks Duncan. I really don't see the foul on the play there. It's very little contact, but the angle of the play made it appear to be a foul.
3-point play by Ridnour, and the Spurs lead by 8.
You can tell the Spurs are really looking for Duncan now to try to get it into him. James doesn't have a lot of movement to stay with him. That's why it's so much help coming, which will get somebody else an open shot.
Well, but Daniels comes back and defends Bowen. Duncan goes out and hits. However you work it, Duncan moved out to the perimeter and hit. And Duncan now with 18 points, 13 boards.
Well, that's why he's so effective. He can penetrate off the dribble from out there as well as hit that shot.
Ginobili on Daniels. Here is Wilkins going in, off balance. And there's a 3-on-2 opportunity. Bruce Bowen, pass a little high for him. Ginobili in the corner for 3. And now Daniels pushing it up. Bowen with him all the way, tries to get it to Ridnour. Kicked out of bounds, so it'll be a timeout coming up. The Sonics will have the ball. Spurs lead by 9 with under 5.5 minutes to play. Home teams have won every game in the series thus far. The home team winning this one as well. We'll be right back.
Necessity because Manu Ginobili has been so successful. Pressure the guards. When you look at the pressure in the guards, Ray Allen has been contained, and he's one guy that definitely you always feel good if you have. Control the boards. The rebounds, as you look at now, are fairly even. So if they're fairly even, you've controlled them.
And Mike Dunleavy, your comments about the keys for the Sonics.
Well, first of all, the Sonics haven't forced enough turnovers. The guard play has been adequate, but the bigs in the paint, they've done a great job against Parker, but they haven't done a very good job of containing Ginobili when he's come to the rim.
Daniels with a bank runner, and the rebound by Duncan. Here's Ginobili with Ridnour in front of him. Double team, Horry. As the trailer, Robert Horry giving the Spurs a 12-point lead.
Well, I was amazing. I didn't know Robert had that much spring left in his leg.
In the playoffs, he has everything left in his leg.
Oh, boy, I mean, he really looks like a youngster going on. And now a block shot.
Ray Allen and Tony Parker holding on to his left hand as he comes up court. He was shaken up.
Tony Parker had been shaken up way before he hurt his left hand.
Duncan misses, and Horry battling for the rebound, and a jump ball between Robert Horry and Damian Wilkins. Horry wishes Dick Bavetta good luck. And now we'll have the jump ball.
Well, on the drive to the basket, Parker takes a knee from Ray Allen on the play.
See, this is good. The Spurs are showing a little bit of energy right here to close this thing out. They can't be passive and let the Sonics pick up momentum, particularly right in here.
And this is crunch time where the team that has won 2 championships, 99 and in 03, they have been in these situations before. Here's Ginobili going right past everyone, and a hard foul by Wilkins, and a flagrant foul will be called against Damian Wilkins.
Well, I think it's a great move by Ginobili behind his back to split the bigs, and then coming into the play, he's going for the throwdown, and Wilkins comes over, and you know it's a hard foul when he's up going to the rim right here. So I think it's a pretty good call by the referees.
2 shots for Manu Ginobili, and the Spurs will get back possession. And Manu makes the first one, and right now this is where the Spurs are trying to rid Nate McMillan and the Sonics of any hope that they have of pulling an upset. Here on the road in Game 5, they got to 50-50, and then a big third quarter for the Spurs, and looking to wrap it up here.
Well, Damian Wilkins made a play on it. I thought he was trying to make a play on the ball, but it's probably deemed excessive force on the contact.
39 now for Manu Ginobili.
Ginobili is so elusive. I mean, even when the defense is packed in the middle, they've totally negated Tony Parker from going through, but Ginobili still is going through, and that foul is not going to stop him. I'm certain he'll still penetrate if he can.
And a Sonics foul, and it'll be on Wilkins, his 4th.
And I think these officials have really done a great job. You know, to me, that's a great call, because after seeing that last play, you don't want to see any retaliation going on. So you're really trying to control the physicalness of this game.
Nearly 4 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Spurs leading by 14. Here's Bowen. Horry getting a big offensive rebound, and at this stage, that's the last thing the Sonics needed.
Horry is coming up real big right in his spurt, because it's important right in here that the Sonics don't pick up momentum.
Well, we've seen Horry before in the big playoff games. Duncan with a turnaround. Tim Duncan now with 20 points, had 10 at the half. And right now, the biggest lead of the game. Matched again, 97-81, a 16-point lead. And an offensive foul has been called against Danny Fortson. That'll be 5 on Fortson, and you can see it slipping away for the Sonics, who are so hopeful of continuing their momentum, winning 2 games in Seattle, taking it on the road here.
Just on that last play, they ran pick and roll. The Spurs switched to pick and roll. Ginobili went to Fortson. He tried to roll to the basket. Ginobili kept giving ground, and Fortson kept trying to find him.
Under 3.5 remaining, and ball knocked away by Ray Allen. Rittenauer going behind. Allen with the ball. Rittenauer going out. Daniels. And the Spurs are just not letting the Sonics get any shot off. There is going to be a foul, and it'll be the 15th foul on the Spurs, so the Sonics will shoot. And no, they call a kick ball. No foul here. So 14 go on the shot clock. Next foul by either team will result in a penalty. But time beginning to run out, John, for Seattle.
Well, the best way to burn the clock if you're on defense, not let your opponent get an early and easy shot.
Allen rims the basket for the 3. And Luke Rittenauer losing the ball on the rebound, and the foul will be against Ginobili. That'll be the 15th foul on San Antonio, and a timeout coming up. When we return, the Sonics will go to the line, trailing 97-81.
It is his 23rd birthday, and he shares this date with a few famous people in history, especially in sports. Sugar Ray Leonard, this is his 49th birthday today. Jordan Knight, you may remember him from New Kids on the Block. And, of course, Dennis Hopper, who played Shooter in the movie Hoosiers. So he's applicable to tonight since he's a basketball guy. Happy birthday, Tony Parker.
All right, Charles, thank you very much. And he'll be happy, not necessarily with the numbers he put up, but the possible victory by the Spurs. Here is Parker, and off of your tribute to him, Charles, he hits a jump shot, only his second field goal, 2 for 11 from the field. And it is a 16-point lead, 99-83, with 2.5 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. And the reach-in foul. Horry getting up. Ray Allen, we were talking about the even numbers, but Ray Allen, not for him tonight. He had 15 points, all in the second quarter, 1 for 8. Shooting in the second half, has hit only 1 of 4 free throws, which is shocking for him. and has 19 points in the game.
And you have to give a lot of credit to Spurs defense. They certainly did focus on him. I still expected him to break loose as he has been in the past, but the Spurs have focused on him and done a very good job.
You know, he's had 3 3-pointers that was set up, set of timeouts that went deep into the basket but came out on him. So if he had made a couple of those shots, it would change his momentum.
99-85.
Tony Parker has struggled without a doubt, but he hasn't pressed, and that's something that is very impressive, the fact that he hadn't gone out and just tried to get numbers. He's distributed the ball a lot.
7 on the shot clock. And here is Bruce Bowen. 3-point attempt. Ori trying to keep it alive. And the loose ball. And Ginobili wins the fight for it. Manu Ginobili playing 35 minutes tonight. Back in the starting role, hustling as if this game was scoreless.
Well, he gives you the impression that he could play another ball game and still play at that same level of energy and enthusiasm.
And this crowd on its feet as the Spurs winning when they have to. In the third and fourth quarters, now 101-85, as the winning team has scored 100 or more in every game but one in this series. And this crowd, Collison would be laying in a very special relationship. Spurs are part of the fiber of the city. The fans adore the players. They encouraged them when they came back after losing the 2 in Seattle. A unique relationship in a very special city, Mike, and you're aware of that.
Well, for long term, since Spurs have entered this league, their fans have been some of the best.
Parker, and Tony Parker hitting a couple. He has 11 in the game, 103-87.
Well, this is good more for the next game than it is now. As much credit as we've given Ginobili, you got to send a little love to Nazr Mohammed, too, because during a crucial point in this game, he definitely filled in for a lot of the lack of scoring on Parker's part.
And Nazr Mohammed with a huge start to this game. Manu Ginobili going out, committing his 5th foul after Collison gets the basket, and a chance for the 3-point play. But this game, virtually history here. Manu Ginobili with 39 points and 6 assists, doing everything tonight. So in game 4, the losing cause, it was Duncan with 35 and no help. Tonight, Tim Duncan could watch other people do more than just help.
So it was definitely the Manu Ginobili show. And the one factor coming into this game late, playing into it, is Tony Parker making 3 straight jump shots. You know, he might get some of his confidence back for the next game in Seattle.
Spurs had 2-0 leads in playoffs each of the last 2 years and saw them dissipated. And last year, the Lakers winning 4 straight to capture their series. And this time, the Spurs will take the 3-2 lead back to Seattle on Thursday for Game 6. Here is Beno Udrih missing a 3. Ori trying to keep it alive. And under a half a minute remaining. And that should do it. And the crowd on its feet. We were tied at 50, and that gave the Sonics a lot of hope tonight. But the Spurs, with a 17-3 run to start the 3rd quarter, began to put this game away. Seattle hung in there, but to no avail. And the Spurs win it 103-90 to take a 3-2 lead in the best of 7. And
So the home courts continue.